Imagine a martial art so powerful, it had to be hidden in plain sight, disguised as a dance right under the eyes of those in charge. This is the story of Capoeira, not just kicks and fancy moves, but a living example of how people survived and fought back. Born in Brazil during the time of colonies, Capoeira was made by enslaved Africans who needed a way to protect themselves without looking suspicious. Fighting back openly meant death, so they made their training look like a fun dance. Every smooth move, every cartwheel was a hidden weapon. The music, berimbau, atabaque, pandero, was more than just sounds. It was a secret language, telling them if there was danger or if they were safe. Songs told stories of hard times and hope, while the rhythms could change fast to warn of God's coming. The roda, the circle where capoeira is played, became a special place for people to come together and stand up for themselves. Slave owners only saw a party, never realizing every move was a lesson in how to stay alive. Capoeira was a sign of strength, a way to keep their culture alive and get ready for freedom. It was a dance of life, a fight to survive, and a game of smarts, all for the biggest prize, being free. Behind every smile was strong determination. Capoeira turned hard times into art, and art into fighting back. It was a secret, a promise, and a weapon. Born when people were held captive, but always reaching for freedom. This is how Capoeira began, a dance that was always more than just a dance. Capoeira's roots go all the way across the ocean, mixing African ways with something new on Brazilian land. In the tough world of big farms, enslaved people mixed dances and fighting styles, making capoeira as both a celebration and a way to survive. Real safety was found in quilombos, hidden towns of escaped slaves deep in the wild. Here, capoeira was openly practiced and made better as a martial art, very important for keeping freedom. The fighters, or quilombolas, used capoeira to be smarter than the soldiers from the colonies. The art's main idea was shaped here, not being mean, but using cleverness and tricks to outsmart stronger enemies. Capoeira players learned to be smooth, hard to catch, and full of surprises, never fighting head-on. Every move, low stances, sudden attacks, showed a history of fighting against big problems. The jogo, or game, of capoeira became a physical talk part dance, part fight, always checking skill and new ideas. In the roda, players were both helpers and rivals, making it hard to tell who was a friend and who was an enemy. This double meaning, celebration and fighting, was what capoeira was all about. It was a language of survival, spoken through movement and music. The quilombos kept capoeira alive, making it a tool for freedom and a sign of fighting back. Every roda was a reminder, staying alive depended on working together, being smart, and wanting to be free. Capoeira's spirit was made strong in these hidden circles. Its story, a dance that could save your life. In 1888, slavery ended in Brazil, but freedom brought new dangers for capoeira players. The skills that once meant survival now made them seem like trouble to the rich and powerful. Capoeira was called a crime, linked to gangs and chaos. In 1890, the government made capoeira illegal. Practicing it meant jail, sometimes for months. Police raided rodas, arrested people playing, and broke instruments. The law wasn't just about stopping fights, it was about getting rid of black culture and controlling people they were afraid of. Capoeira players became outcasts, hunted for their art. Still, the spirit of fighting back stayed strong. Players found ways to adapt, going underground to keep capoeira alive. They hid their gatherings, changed their music, and relied on secrecy. The art that had been a way to get free was now a mark of shame and a ticket to jail. But capoeira's fire refused to die. The community grew stronger when times were tough, held together by shared danger and determination. Every hidden roda was an act of standing up for themselves. Capoeira survived because its players refused to let it be silenced. With capoeira against the law, police hunted players without stopping. Even a certain move or a hat could make someone a suspect. Open rodas disappeared, replaced by secret gatherings in backyards and hidden spots. Getting arrested meant forced labor or being sent away to far-off prison islands. Newspapers made people afraid, showing capoeira players as dangerous criminals. To survive, they used nicknames and secret codes, moving their rodas out of sight. The berimbo's rhythm became a warning system. One change, and everyone scattered. The danger made them a very close group. Trust was everything. Stories grew of capoeira players who outsmarted police and disappeared like ghosts. These stories inspired new generations to keep the art alive. In the shadows, capoeira's spirit only grew stronger. The dance of fighting back continued, hidden but not broken. Capoeira's survival depended on a few brave mestres, masters who risked everything to keep the art alive. They taught in secret, passing down moves, music and ideas to students they trusted. Mestre Noronha, a protector of Capoeira Angola, kept the old ways alive in hidden rodas. These masters taught malandragem, being street smart and able to adapt. Capoeira was more than fighting. It was a way of life, a lesson in survival and smart thinking. Secret rodas became acts of cultural defiance, safe places for music, identity and freedom. The masters were guardians, making sure Capoeira's story lived through the hardest times. Without their courage, Capoeira might have disappeared. Their quiet resistance kept the flame burning for people in the future. In the 20th century, a new master changed Capoeira's future, Mestre Bimba. He believed Capoeira needed changes to survive and earn respect. Bimba created Capoeira Regional, mixing new techniques and organized teaching. In 1932, he opened the first Capoeira school, bringing in uniforms and a set way of teaching. His goal, to clean up Capoeira's image and prove it was for everyone, not just outlaws. Students had to show they worked or studied. Capoeira was now for good citizens. In 1937, Bimba showed Capoeira to President Vargas, who said it was a national sport. This approval marked the start of Capoeira becoming legal. Bimba's bold idea brought Capoeira out of the shadows and onto the national stage. The art was no longer a crime, it was something to be proud of. Capoeira's journey from secret to celebrated had begun. The school became a bright spot for a new time. Mestre Bimba's big change altered everything. Making it legal opened the doors. Capoeira spread across Brazil and the world. The government, once its enemy, now promoted it as a symbol of national identity. Masters and students took Capoeira to every continent, bringing people together through movement and music. Today, millions practice Capoeira worldwide, drawn by its creativity and spirit. In 2014, UNESCO said the Capoeira Circle was a special part of human culture that should be protected. The art once called a crime is now celebrated and kept safe. Capoeira's story is one of strength, from slave quarters to world heritage. It's proof that culture can be a weapon, a shield, and a path to freedom. Even in darkness, the rhythm of fighting back continues. Capoeira's legacy is secure, a dance, a fight, a worldwide language of freedom. The roda continues, and the spirit of Capoeira lives on.